All right, thank you so much for joining me. In today's exercise, what we'll be doing is examining the active and passive sentences or voices in English. And an active voice sentence, just as a reminder, the subject of that sentence is the one performing the action. Whereas in a passive sentence or a passive voice sentence, you'll have the subject receiving the action. An example I can give you now is Mr. Mata, myself as the subject, put the pencil down. Okay, I'm the one putting the pencil down. Whereas in the passive form of that same sentence, it would be the pencil was put down by Mr. Mata. Now the subject is the one receiving the action. All right, now for this exercise, what we're gonna do is I'll read the first two sentences and then we'll go over those together. And we've got to make the determination as to whether or not they are in the active or passive form. Now, keep in mind, as a reminder, active form, the subject is performing the action, and passive is receiving. So let's go ahead and look. Sentence number 1. Before leaving home, Hector always brushes his hair and cleans his glasses. Well, what do you think it is as far as active or passive? Well, let's break it down. We know before leaving home, not a subject, that's just kind of an addition or an ancillary. We're getting some additional details. So Hector is our subject. Well, okay, he always, there's your adverb because it's a frequency, brushes, there's your action, his hair, which is the object, and cleans, there's another action, his glasses, which is the object of that verb. Now, Hector is the one performing both actions. Therefore, in that sentence, we're looking at an active voice. For the second sentence, we have the Nathatches, subject, which is a kind of bird, were being fed by a group of children. What do you suppose it is? Well, we know the group of children are the ones actually feeding the Nathatches. However, the way that the sentence is written, the children are the ones receiving the action. Therefore, I can tell that it's a passive voice sentence. Now, for the remainder of these sentences, I'm going to have you go ahead and pause the video. Please make your identifications independently, and when you are ready to review it with me, please hit play, and we'll go over it together. Thank you. All right, so I am moving and shaking. Let's go ahead and jump right in. So for sentence 3, we have the electronic switch was flicked by Mr. Strothman, and the building crumbled to the ground. Yikes. All right, well, we know Mr. Strothman is the one who actually flicked the switch to cause the building to collapse. However, in the sentence, we know he is receiving the action. Therefore, it's in the passive voice. Sentence number 4, Mount Takawa shielded the desert from any storms approaching from the west. Okay, our subject is Mount Takawa. It is shielding directly the desert from any storms that may approach from the west. Mount Takawa, even though it's an inanimate object, is still the one performing the action. It's directly involved. Therefore, it is active voice. Now, sentence number 5. On the day of the flood, Kate was riding her horse, Petulia, near the creek. Okay, Kate is the one directly riding the horse, Petulia. In that case, it's an active voice sentence. Sentence number 6. The Caribbean was the site of many pirate attacks during the early 1700s. Okay, for this, the Caribbean, being our subject, is in fact the site of many of these attacks, right? It's not receiving the action, it's involved directly. Sentence number 7, Jupiter is the largest planet in the solar system. Subject is Jupiter, it happens to be the largest planet in the solar system, active. 8, the rocket was launched by NASA in 1972. Well, we know NASA is the one that actually launched the rocket, but NASA is receiving the action, therefore passive. Sentence 9, when she stepped in the fire ant nest, Nikki's foot was bitten multiple times by swarming insects. Well, swarming insects are the ones doing the biting. And in this case, her foot is the one being bitten. But in the sentence, the ants are the ones receiving the action, even though they're performing it. Therefore, it's passive voice. And final sentence number 10, Lucas was talking by the water fountain when the bell rang. Now, don't be fooled. Even though it says by, preposition, doesn't necessarily mean it's attributing the action to something else. In this case, it's just used as a preposition to tell you where, in this case, Lucas is. Now, Lucas is the one talking, so he's directly involved. Therefore, it's an active voice sentence. All right, let's see how you did. Hopefully you did well. Otherwise, if I made a mistake, which happens from time to time, please let me know in the comment section below what I may have done wrong and how we can fix it. All right, That being said, if you found this video helpful, which I certainly hope you did, please give it a like and subscribe should you want to continue to practice with me. All right, thank you for joining me.